Now you notice I'm never doing a 7-stage snipe out here in map. There's no point. Like, stuff dies fast enough. And since damage is actually pretty respectable for this deep in the delirium, especially not doing any major snipes going on here. And look at the Detonate dead. It's just lovely. I'm surprised that it procs that much. I only got like 22% chance to crit. I guess it doesn't matter because Rain of Arrows is just busted. Hey guys, what's up? It's Snoo. I'm back with build number 4 for the League Start Showcase teaser for 3.25 Settlers of Calcs. We now know the league name and the date. Very important, and thank God it came out at the right time. What so many of us were anticipating the last week of July. Took time off work for it. Very exciting if you fall in that camp. And this is the beginning of the league start process for so many of you. Now, it started earlier for me because I like doing it really early, and I was kind of done with the previous league. And to that note, this is the build that I spent the most time on. Crafting, the craftsmanship of this build, guys. So much love and care went into this build. And it's not just because I spent more time on it. It's because this build truly holds a special place in my heart. What do I mean by that? Well, I inform you to take a second look at my channel name. Snoo Bae, capital B-A-E. You know what that stands for? Well, you might have thought you knew what it stood for, but it actually stands for Burning Arrow Elementalist. Yes, it's true. True story. Back in 3.14, like so many of you guys, I was swayed to play this game when I saw another content creator have a build showcase, just like the one you're seeing now, and it boggled my mind how crazy the build looked. I was like, I just, slapped my hands on the desk, said, all right, that's it. I'm doing it. I'm pulling the trigger. I'm playing this game. I don't care how ridiculous the passive tree looks. We're going to do this. That's too awesome. Not sitting it out. I'm going to play this game. And maybe that's you right now. If that's you right now and you've never played the game before, that would be pretty awesome. I don't know. But anyway, that was me a long time ago in 3.14 for Ultimatum League. Some of you may recall the absolute amazing build of Burning Arrow. Golemancr at the time. The proliferation with Barracks Respite. Oh my God, that was so crazy. You could go delve and kill things 10 screens away in the darkness. It was so insane. It had to be nerfed. All right, I admit it had to be nerfed. And it was nerfed so hard in 3.15 in so many ways. The support gems, the AoE nerf, the change of the gem itself, losing the stages. Oh my God, I can't believe they just destroyed my baby at the end. I was so devastated. I didn't even care. I played the build again anyway. I was like the only person in the whole world who was playing Burning Arrow Element. I actually was. I remember checking PoE Ninja. It was like literally the only profile for Burning Arrow Elementalist in 3.15 because who in their right mind would play this build after that nerf? That much of a nerf. Well, I tell you all this because now you know what this build means to me. And I'm going to share it with you now. This is my take on Burning Arrow Elementalist well after the nerf, when we got so many toys brought back into it, things like Flame Surge, things like, I don't even know if this was here before. This is one of the most powerful parts of the build for sure. Defiled Forces here, allowing me to re-up the Ignite regardless of how soft or how hard it was. Always choose the strongest Ignite because Ignite only works with one copy of damage, the strongest copy at a time, which is incredibly good with Snipe, which I quite certain wasn't around back in 3.14. And, fortunately, the rest of the Ascendancy didn't get nerfed. It was only the Golems that got crazy nerfed on top of it. And there are some other things which I'll just think of them off the top of my head later on what they are. But this is a Burning Arrow Elementalist cast on crit, detonate dead, going on kind of a little bit of a side quest, I guess, of Detonate Dead. It's not as serious as most Detonate Dead builds, but I just figured I'd throw it in there because, why not, I guess. We'll look at that in the gem links in a moment. We'll check out the map showcase at the end. I'm going to give you a little bonus stuff on bossing because another great thing about Ignite is it's actually good at bossing. Guys, see the number down here, 11.7 mil. A humble number, not too bad, but what I want you to understand is that this number, and the way I set the config, I try to be honest about it, and is set for bossing conditions, but it's always set for optimal bossing conditions. What optimal means for most builds, like a hit-based crit build, for example, means you're standing your ground, you're never moving, you're ignoring mechanics, and you're just firing away constantly. And everything is up. Like your flasks are up, everything is up. That's not very realistic, obviously. But that is kind of the snapshot of the high end of optimal DPS. Well, the thing with Ignite is you hit the enemy with your strong Ignite, you roll it indefinitely, or at least until the following phase, easily with curses, and then you can run around to your heart's delight, ignoring mechanics, casually hitting the boss here and there, and you keep that number up. That's the thing about Ignite. And that works in maps, obviously, with hard-hitting enemies with maps. So tanky mobs of mechanics in League, Delirium bosses, Beyond bosses, the Legion bosses, Expedition's wonderful for that. It's actually pretty good at bossing. So this is, in my sense, a hybrid build, bosser, mapper. And so I'm going to show you a boss at the very end. There is an inspired learning down here, and I'll tell you in a second why that is, but this is most definitely the most expensive item in the build, but it is there. Sometimes I make a League starter with an inspired learning, not usually, but we did this time. Let's start getting into the tree full throttle here. We got an Elementalist. We got to start from the top, and we want to go to the right because we got some really nice stuff, which is one of the things I forgot to mention when I was saying how the game was buffed, or how this build was buffed. Since 3.14 definitely was buffed in terms of masteries, options, and additional arrows and free pierce. And we didn't have those things before at all. And like instant leech and stuff, which I didn't actually take. Maybe I don't need it. I don't know. But anyway, we start off the top and things look normal here. We get the increased AoE, really scaling, really trying to go off AoE here. I got Detonate Dead. I got Elemental Proliferation, which is super important in maps. Trying to make up for something. The hardcore nerfs done to Barracks Respite back in the day. Getting that AoE number up, we got, the Ascendancy here. We got Heart of Destruction, while in maps got crazy strong AoE. We're going to convert everything to Ignites. It's a terrific Ignite Ascendancy. Everybody knows it. You can run Bastion of Elements for defense or Shaper of Storms for shock. I like the idea of shock because I'm running Detonate Dead. All damage shocks, Detonate Dead. Being able to shock is going to really help with the damage. And, even just like with snipe and stuff, it's actually going to put out some halfway decent shocks, surprisingly. So, we're going to go that with the Ascendancies up here. We're going to get Elemental Overload, just like we did back in the day. Nothing's changed about this. We need a little bit of crit, not too much. Fortunately, Rain of Arrows will carry the Detonate Dead crit portion fairly well, you see in maps. Getting some dot damage, getting a boatload of fire damage, getting more shock value out of this Fire Mastery and Detonate Dead hitting harder a little bit. Not going to scale the Ignite much, however. Really nice tree here. We could waste our way up the top, but instead, because Detonate Dead is involved, and kind of shortcut over here, get Undertaker and get Corrupted Blood immunity, so I don't need to worry about it on the Jewel. Snowforge is wicked strong. We get Suppression now, which we didn't have back in the day either. We do need a second Curse, and I could anoint Whispers of Doom and just go up this way instead, but since I go ahead and need Influence, I think I'll go this way. Regardless, I like scaling even more AoE. Curse effect is strong. We're getting some nice life nodes here. We get Ghost Dance because I do have some evasion and some energy shields. We'll get value out of that. We got a very conveniently located Inspired Learning. We already need the Mastery. We need this Mastery. We need all of this stuff here. Didn't technically need one of the charges, but might as well. Frenzy charge is still strong. We're getting the Leech. Now we get the real bow stuff down here. The free Pierce, more Suppress, and another Jewel. And then 300 additional accuracy with an additional projectile. You could take multi-shot instead of, I don't know, maybe this Fire Wheel or whatever. I don't think it's necessary. I got 3 arrows on this part, 1 from the quiver and 1 from here. You could, if you really don't like the idea of 3 as opposed to 4, I mean, you could run greater multi, which we'll look at the links in a second. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's wise for an Ignite build, honestly. Tattoos, kind of important here. Hopefully we got tattoos coming up next. We're not freezing enemies. We're not chilling enemies. We need to slow them down somehow. We do have Covered in Ash as well. So we got some slows going on. That's pretty good. Okay, guys, that is all for the passives. Now is the gem links. So snipe is a brand new thing. It does mean you kind of have to channel to get a really strong snipe. I want you to take a look here what happens when I remove snipe. And if I were to Put Cruelty on. You can see it's about 6 mil. So about half the damage if I ignore Snipe. That's with 7 stages, however. But you'll see that one stage, if I go back here, one stage is pretty forgiving. It's still almost exactly the same as no Snipe. So the one stage is just about a normal attack speed anyway, slightly more. So it could be annoying. You may want to go without Snipe in maps. I still think it's good. It's good to have, especially on the map boss and whatnot. But anyway, your choice. We get some really strong support gems. Volatility didn't used to be in here. It is now. Combustion, I can't get anywhere else in a convenient place. Otherwise, these things look the same as normal. And Proliferation, Ignite Prolif is on the bow. I'm bringing this bow back from the dead, guys. I told you I'd take it seriously trying to bring this build back. Zoph's Nurture. Nobody uses it anymore. Like, nobody. And that's because another buff to this build since then is the enormously increased flat elemental damage to bows. Now true to two-handers, can go crazy high on the damage. Yeah, that number just went up that high with a triple tier elemental bow, so surely you would want to switch to that eventually, but you would have to swap out for elemental prolif as well, because we got it free here, and you're going to lose a ton of life on hit. Oh yeah, that's why. That's another reason why I don't need an instant leech, because you get like 60 life on hit or something ridiculous. But you also get Fizz gained as extra. And guys, with Shaper of Flames, Fizz gained as extra. One reason why I wanted to do Inspired Learning is because it doesn't matter if it's extra fire, cold, or lightning, or random, it's going to give me more damage. A lot more damage. It's going to help with that Ignite, raising that Ignite number well beyond what it is now. So Zoph's Nurture as a Fizz bow, combined with Inspired Learning, it's going to feel good. And obviously there might be a way where you get 2 of them, if you really wanted to. Maybe, no, not here. Yeah, not here wouldn't be good. You would do it down here, below here, I guess. Which means you'd have to drop some other damage thing. It's up to you. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. Here's where things get a little weird. Definitely didn't do this back in the day. Because, you know, we got Manaforge arrows now. Rain of Arrows, Saturation, Detonate, Dead. So this is what I did on the Pathfinder, and there's a version of this build that might take this concept seriously on an Ignite build. Like if I did a Shaper bow with a cast on crit roll as a prefix and just went like all in into Detonate, Dead damage. Could be crazy. But not doing that for now. I might look into that build later. Just kind of use this on the back end with scaling it up with some life tap and power charge damage. So kind of cool. We get some of that. And the power charge is critical for the build. You know, we do want power charges. If I drop the power charges, I'm going to have some serious issues with crit chance. I'm doubling my crit chance almost. And I don't need it to be high, guys. I don't need it to be high because unlike I'm not yet taking the mastery for Refresh Ignite, 50% chance on crit, I got this, which is going to be actually more reliable, especially with only 22% chance to crit. But I do need crit every once in a while. Elemental Overload, I think, was nerfed, so it has to be done with each one. So Detonate Dead will have to crit sometimes, and Ignite will have to crit sometimes. I'm casting anyway with Asenath's Mark. I want to cast frequently regardless. So that should stay up pretty conveniently, pretty well. We'll see it in maps. It's fun. It looks good. Now, speaking of Asenath's Mark, this auto casts one at a time each spell in the helmet slot. We got Desecrate. Okay, good for Detonate Dead. We got Flammability and Punishment as 2 curses there. They're actually alternated, which is kind of smart here because depending on how casual I am about attacking, keeping Ignites on, again, I have to curse an enemy. I don't have to self-cast this, by the way. I want to make that very clear. This confused some people before. Refresh duration of Ignite on enemies you curse. That works, even auto curse. Remove elemental ailments when you cast a cursed spell doesn't work. That line does not work. So we're not getting ailment immune actually with this build, which is unfortunate. Flame Surge is also, I don't remember if this was back here. I don't remember if this existed before or not, but anyway, it's here now. And that is it for that one. Precision. We need some hit chance. We got some hit chance issues here without any precision. I can only go up to 12. I can't remember why. I think it's just for getting the mana number nice. Flame Dash, and then cast some damage taken a Mortal Call. I was running this with automation on the next links before. I was doing like automation. Steel Skin is not bad here, but I go ahead and run that. I'm a little torn on it. We got Grace and Malevolence as and Precision as the only auras going on here. So this is super light on auras, but cool. We got Endurance Charges. Didn't used to have that back in the day as well. Next up, we got the items. Already talked about Zoph's Nurture being Fizz, great for Headhunter gameplay. I did play this with a Headhunter, and it felt real nice. But yeah, Ignite Prolif completely removes recovery issues out of the equation, and so that's quite strong. Then we got a Quiver. Pretty well rolled. Doesn't have to be this well rolled, but you definitely do want the dot multi. Eventually, you want double dot multi, I'd say. And the Frenzy Charge on crit is critical also. I don't like Blood Rage, not a big fan of it. We already talked about the helmet. You know what this does. We got Cloak of Flame. All right, so we're a little more tanky than we were back in the day. Despite, for some reason, feeling so squishy, I do have 40% Fist taken as fire. So that's nice. We got some very strong gloves here that also didn't exist back in the day with the free exposure on hit. That is a super big deal, getting that. Why? Well, before you get that, I mean, you're going to need Wave of Conviction on Arcanus, what do you call it? Brand. Yeah, Arcanus Brand, if not. But anyway, exposure here, extra 25%. And as a dot build, exposure is a huge deal. We need that on the build somewhere. And you want it reliably. This is the most reliable place you can get it. The extra fire dot multi is good. And we'll cover our bases on attributes and some resistances there. Get a little bit of life. Not bad. Boots, also very strong Eldritch Implicits, just like the gloves. So love the power of the Eldritch Implicits for this build. Ignite, inflicting faster. It's a major deal, way more important than Poisoned, inflicting faster. And Scorched Ground is also quite strong. If you have it up, that does kind of mean you're getting near the boss, but that's all right. And everything else looks pretty typical there. Then we got a very cheap amulet. This is the unupgraded version. It can be dirt cheap, free basically, with the Anointment Defiled Forces. And nearby enemies are covered in ash. Well, that is just a really strong debuff you can put on enemies. It's just a nice amulet. There are better options in this, but covered enemies in ash is a little bit hard to pass up. And works for defensive reasons too, to slow the enemies is nice. The taming, very strong. We don't actually freeze, but we are shocking, igniting. Another reason why I wanted to do Shaper of Storms is to get the shock into the build for the taming to be a little bit more valuable. It's strong here. Don't want to run two of them though. And I want to run two of these. For sure. All right, ignites, you inflict deal damage 54% faster. And then we're even running Diadian Dawn. Yeah, this is an iconic ring that almost all Ignite builds wear. And if you're an attack-based Ignite build, for which I will mention a Detonate Dead version will not get the benefit of Diadian Dawn. So we're getting even more ailment speed here. Deal no physical damage, doesn't matter. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. Really, Snoo? You're going to run this ring and this belt? Oh, I'd like to see what your ignite duration is. Very important question. Well, it's 4 seconds. Still 4 seconds. So, that's almost hard to believe. It's go into the PoE and check for yourself. That works, okay? Again, I can be casual, just run it. I need to cast at least twice to get the curses to roll. Curse every other attack puts a curse on the enemy. Whether I pull out the snipe or not, I just need to begin holding snipe down and it'll get the curse. So very strong here. We got a couple of magic flasks and then we got some really strong unique flask. Another reason why to go Zoph's Nurture. Physical Bow is Taste of Hate, gets more value with the fizz gained is extra cold. Cinder Swallow is pretty iconic for an Ignite build. Actually a good flask in maps for that. And then its Serious Promise is also very strong. Because, again, all damage ignites, including the chaos damage. So physical gained is extra chaos, improves the damage. Elemental damage gains extra chaos, improves the damage. The leech actually doesn't really matter on this build. Then we got 3 Grand Spectrums for damage. And guys, there's a way to get elemental ailment immune. If you wanted to do triple Grand Spectrums for elemental ailment immunity, you could. Unfortunately, the number threshold's pretty bad. I looked into Ancestral Vision, I looked into trying to get a whole bunch on the boots, avoidance, and it was just always, I didn't like where the numbers lined up at all. I actually just gave up on it. I didn't worry about elemental ailment immunity. I'm going to go Brine King, freeze immunity, stuns, not too often. It's pretty good. It works for me. I mean, occasionally it backfires, but I think it'll be fine. That is it for the gear, configuration-wise. All right, so 11.7 million. Boss damage, 7 stages of snipe. We have power, frenzy, and endurance charges. We got life tap on. We're phasing. Maybe not. Well, yeah, actually phasing the boss fight. Definitely going to have convergence on. You don't necessarily in maps. We're exposing on hit. Expressed recently. Consumed a corpse recently. Yes, because of the cast on crit detonate dead. Enemy low life. Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually is. Well. Ah, I forgot about that. Okay, I remember why this is happening. I kept switching back and forth between elemental weakness and punishment. I think I'll go ahead and run punishment. I think punishment is smarter here because it adds you a little bit of defenses, and otherwise the numbers come out pretty even. So probably should do punishment. Wow, that makes the damage look a little higher than it is. So I guess it's really around the 14 mil mark. Okay. Anyway, enemy is blinded thanks to a tattoo. Enemy is now debilitated. Okay, my defenses went up a hair. Scorched ground. Okay, yeah, effective chill. Remember something's chilling. I am still doing cold damage, so some chill there. Enemy's frozen. No, actually, not frozen. I don't know why that's there. Shocked. Yes. Okay, so I am investing into shock a fair amount here because the hit on shock and detonate dead is going to be shocking, and I only got 2 of these up. Not frozen. Enemy is exposed to fire. Nothing else. And then we got the calculations. All right, I'm going to take you straight to the most alarming thing on here is probably the max fizz hit, which is currently at 17k. Well, okay, not exactly. Let's remove, and we'll call, boom, 8.6. All right, that actually looks a little better. Look better than I realized. I got punishment and debilitate in there. Let's see, without endurance charges, which would sometimes be down at 7. You know, it's not as bad as I recalled, actually. Not as bad as I recall. That's not the squishiest one. The one I showed you, build number 3 with the occultist, is actually squishier than that on a fizz max hit. But a little bit concerning with the elemental max hit too. I don't know. It's a little bit weak. Anyway, probably the weakest part of the build is delayed damage, and you're sitting there trying to snipe. Not necessarily in maps, but you can leave yourself vulnerable and exposed, and you will get hit by enemies with this setup. So no freeze like on the occultist, no freeze opportunity, or on the Deadeye for the freeze build. Makes you feel like you're a little squishier. So that does matter. And in the context of building a magic find version of the build, guys, if you want to understand how much time I went into this, I got so many different layers of the setup here. You can go in here and just freewheel it. You can have so much fun seeing all the different setups. I got Mirror Tier guy, I got Garb of the Ephemeral, which is crazy strong here. Got Mirror Tier bows, Fizz bow, Elemental bow, Greed's Embrace or no. We got leveling with Rolling Magma, Explosive Concoction into Burning Arrow around level 85. I mean, this is just a one wild ride. This is the most developed PoE I think I've ever seen. Certainly I've ever done. And that's it for that. All right, back to the calculations. No magic find. I got up to 87% quant on like the biggest MF version, but you can see the breakdown here. A lot of fire damage, mostly fire damage. Chaos damage is involved a little bit, and freeze immune, but not anything else. Unfortunately, suppress is 81 plus lucky, and the damage breakdown is here with again a 4-second ignite. Almost 4 seconds. Very important number. Probably the most important number on the whole calculations. Take a look at the rest of it if you'd like. It's there. Now let's move on to mapping, 2 mapping showcases and a boss showcase. Okay, this should be a familiar picture to you. We have the Atlas. It's exact same as used for the other ones. For sake of apples to apples comparison, once again, item level 84 cluster farm, starting with a blank Minotaur map, and then I will be showing Eater of Worlds at the very end. We got a pretty easy abomination map here, but we're gonna start with the Minotaur map. Send it right in. Oh yeah, I'm not doing this on standard now. Well, it's not gonna matter too much. I'm actually quite susceptible to crits on this build, unfortunately, but this one won't matter too much. I hope I don't get lantern mods that bad on the T17. I will say that. There she is in all her glory, flaming glory. Love it. No MTX is on. Oh, I should actually, before I should demonstrate there's snipe. Okay, so snipe, this is what snipe looks like. You can see the stages up on the top, go up to 7. It takes a while. Well, unless you have Soul Eater, then it doesn't take a while. You can see Flame Surge proccing, you see Detonate Dead proccing down here, the Immortal Call, see how often that goes off, Punishment, one of the curses, so you can get a sense of when things are proccing. And I can't just right-click with snipe, it's a little annoying. I do have to hold it down for split second anyway to make it go out. So when I want to, you know, really do a lot of damage to something, I'm going to hold it for a long time. And on this build, unlike virtually all of my other builds, I'm going to stand at range for a lot of the time. Now, I will go ahead and show you an Expedition. I said this build's very good at Expedition, right? So, we're going to show you that. Now, if I'm in the snipe form and I get stunned, that sucks. That's not going to work out very well. But, wow, all that Detonate dead and snipe and proliferation on the ignites. The strongest ignite will prolif if you got the AoE. I got a frick ton of AoE. I should have showed it on the calculations, actually. But there you go. I mean, you saw how easy that was. That was just gone. I off-screened everything, basically. And this build, back in the day, it was a king of off-screening. Like, nobody, like, I've never seen anything like it since. But certainly, it has whispers of that power that it had before. And off-screening is a thing. And, you know, I suppose I should attempt to play it that way a little more because that is its strength. I don't really have any advantage to being up close here. Detonate dead can proc in front of me or behind me. It doesn't matter. Rain of arrows will still target pretty nicely. Strong box. I remember doing this build, farming Enraged strong box. It was just so easy. So easy. Now, I have Val Grace down here. Val Burning Arrow is actually nothing special. It's really sad. I love the way Val Burning Arrow looked and felt. But, yeah, nothing special now. Val Grace is going to be better, I think. When you find yourself in a sticky situation, especially if you want to be sniping at the same time, it can give you a reprieve to maybe avoid getting wrecked in that phase while doing that. I also mentioned that it would be good with Legion. So, again, this is a blank T16, but look at this. The Detonate dead, the Prolif on the Ignite. That is really easy. And see, I got some Headhunter buffs, right? Getting a few Headhunter buffs. Oh, missed one. Missed two, I guess. I got Soul... Uh-oh, he got Soul Leader. He got Soul Leader! Now I'm cheating. Definitely cheating. Oh, this poor boss doesn't know what's about to hit him. Yeah, you go underground. Alright, let's get a full Ignite on him. There we go. Oh, that's kind of interesting. He's... not taking quite as much damage as I expected. Oh, yeah, punishment. Maybe that's why, a little bit. You gotta get the, you gotta get to punishments. Bandage. All right, so that is it for that map. Not too bad. Once it gets down below half-life, it definitely gets destroyed. Okay, here we go. Delirium up. We're going to show a T17. Oh, boy. All right, let's see what we got here. Don't like that. That's fine. This is all right. All right, that's not terrible. Not terrible. Let's do it. I think the mob types weren't that bad. A little bit wiser to stand at range, if possible here. Oh yeah, it's volatile cores. Oops. That'd be hard to see with a bunch of Detonate dead going out. That was not smart. You see it working. I mean, it doesn't look like it does bad damage, does it? I mean, Detonate Dead's still doing okay. It is linked to a life tap and a power charge on crit, so it does have a little bit of extra punch to it. But most of the damage is indeed Burning Arrow. I know it may be confusing you guys. You see Detonate Dead. Whoa, you're doing a lot of damage with Detonate Dead. No, actually, the vast majority of it is Ignite through Burning Arrow. Could be a little deceiving. Did they buff the drop rate of this? When I was testing earlier, I also dropped a meat sacks. Now you notice I'm never doing a 7-stage snipe out here in map. There's no point. Like, stuff dies fast enough. I'd say the damage is actually pretty respectable for this deep in the Delirium. Especially not doing any major snipes going on here. And look at the Detonate Dead. It's just lovely. I'm surprised that it procs that much. I only got like 22% chance to crit. I guess it doesn't matter because Rain of Arrows is just busted. Now I just need to find the boss room. I can show you what that looks like. Oh. Well. trip down memory lane. Good old T17 volatile cores. Yep. Surely it's this way. It's got to be this way. Okay, well, we'll put my cast on death portal down. I'll put another cast on death portal here. It's a joke, by the way. Don't actually have cast on death. Pretending I do. I'm not going to do the expedition here. I want to move this on. The video is going to be longer than the others because we are doing a Eater of Worlds. All right, it's got to be here. There we go. There we go. That seemed a little bit suspect. I think I rubber banded there. I mean, it's probably volatile core again anyway. So. I just assume every death in this map is volatile cores. So doesn't count. Not a real death. You want to see a real death? I'll show you in this room here. God, get me out of here! What the hell? Don't tell me they can cross over. All right, got a snipe there. A decent one anyway, I guess. Come on, life on hit from Zoff's Nurture. Let's do this. Oh my god. Wait, I need to target one. I want to get this boss out of the way. All right, well, anyway, you got to kind of see the potential here, and wow. All right. We're going to save time, not go back in. Can I kill the boss on here? Yeah, probably can. It's a little bit suspect with this gear threshold, with what it's doing, but it's not bad. That was definitely, you could see the potential there. You could at least see the potential. Now, to get through the rest of this video, we're going to put in an Eater of Worlds. And this is definitely doable. All right, I mean, this is like infinitely easier than what I just encountered. No surprise, I mean, most people probably agree. Okay, just get a few ignites and then one nice snipe. I think I got a nice snipe off. Yeah, it looks like it. I have more opportunities to snipe. Now it's just I need to keep casting, keep cursing, and that snipe is rolling, baby. That sucker is going. Unfortunately, the boss is more than one phase, so I'm gonna have to do that again. But supremely strong for like an actual one-phase fight, like a really tanky one-phase fight. I love that timing window there. Got the really strong one. Got the Detonate dead still going in. He shocked 24%. I registered 25 in this, so the boss is at 24%. I wasn't paying any attention there. All right, anyway, that's it. The boss is dead. I mean, you saw he's basically dead. If I had Calling Strike, he would have died. But save time, and we're going to call the video there. I'll go back in and kill him in a second. Guys, what do you think about this most lovely build? The trip down memory lane, was it great or was it not great? I think it was great. It was great for me. Hope it was as good for you as it was for me. It was wonderful to make this build, to play it. I understand it's not actually the most OP thing in the world, but it does function. I gave you a highly functioning Burning Arrow Elementalist, and that's more than many of you can ask for, I know. So let me know if you want to actually try this build at League Start, or at least test it beforehand. I'd love to hear, out of all the builds that I'm showing, this is the one I really appreciate the most feedback on, because it's just near and dear to me. That's it. So thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. We got one more to show you. I'm not done yet. I got a fifth one. I've shown you 2 separate classes, 4 separate ascendancies, and 1 weapon archetype. And what am I doing differently this time? Same weapon archetype, different class, different ascendancy. I won't spoil it for you too much. Well, it's already spoiled. If you pay any attention on Twitch, you would have seen it. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you next time in that next video. Bye for now.